First cab off the rank, we have Mark Thomas, who's the director and architect at Goodhouse. The Mark and the Goodhouse team have been developing the Goodhouse system, as he will explain, for over 10 years now, and they work towards the most efficient way to deliver high-performance, sustainable homes in South Australia. The Goodhouse model has obviously lived up to its name of providing actually a good house and good living, and we're always thrilled to be able to have Mark showcase what different ways that the Goodhouse model has been adapting and being refined over the years, and providing the goods for everyone else, and whoever actually does get a good house. And another side note here from Mark is that he lives in the hills with his family in Pemerang Nation, and he has a wonderful addiction called bikes. So if you could please welcome Mark up to the stage, that would be greatly appreciated.
Thanks for the opportunity, Ken. It's always nice to come and share a project. I've decided to share Goodhouse 21. If you went to Sustainable House Day and 2019, you might have looked through 21. We've actually had it open in 2019, so I hope you don't feel ripped off by me sharing it again, but it's actually nice to get some information from the clients who've been living in there for over 3 years now. And I'll just go through this as a project, our approach, and I'm sort of hoping that the Q&A might dig more into the sustainability aspects of it. So that's the way I'm going to approach it. That was free time, that one. Now I'll start. Yeah. So this was a tricky site. North is facing up, you can see over there. So our orientation is opposing the boundaries, or 45 off from the boundaries, and also the contours are running north-south, which is terrible. Trees, CFS, well, trees are great, but there were fairly large issues with trees. Wastewater, rainwater, stormwater conditions all over the site. Native veg, and access was a dirt road with no turnaround on the end. So it was a cheap block, but ended up being quite a tricky one, but a great challenge. There it is there in red. You can see the neighbour's house there indicating the slope of the block and the dirt road up the top of the block. There it is in 3 dimensions, just as a terrain. That orange line is north. So we minimised cut and fill, which is what we do, and it was slopey enough to have a 2-level home on there. So we started with a concrete slab down below for the car, some step strip footings for retaining walls, and you'll see this again when we slide around a little bit closer and make it see-through. So there was a fair dig to start with. A lot of money was spent before we even started building the house, but that was the most efficient way to do it. All of that dig, all of that cut ended up being fill and creating the only flat area on the block for car turnaround and also for play, etc. Then the bond deck, bit of steel goes down, bond deck, and we get our slab. It's a pretty small house in terms of footprint. 3-bedroom, oversized timber frame, which is our want, and then a pretty typical truss roof flat ceiling with a mono pitch. So the actual construction, once the slab was down, is actually pretty simple. I'm sure the builders would back me up on that one. Around the front, starting at that level means that our front door is at natural ground level, which is where we want it to be. So that's the north face. We weren't really relying on north very much because of the trees, and you can see there's no solar on there. I've just spoken with the client. They put solar on in January this year, as a 5 kilowatt system, just to see how that went, and I can share that with you later. But you can now see the programming of the house. It is pretty much a simple box with the cars going in underneath, out of the way, and you can see the fill down here. Site plan, just to give you an indication of some of the tricky bits, we've got the wastewater system being dispersed top and bottom. That almost put a stop to the project because we couldn't get that through, but we did in the end. CFS turnaround right at the top, CFS tank, pumps, stormwater management. It was a perfect storm of options and extras, we call them. But that was what was required with this site. So we go to the floor plan, and you'll see the strip footings and the retaining walls, the garage, storage area, and then on the bottom level there's the laundry. So that's essentially the back door there, which is working really, really well for them. Stairs wrap around the back of the laundry and head up into the living area. You'll see in the living area it's not enormous. The floor plan is not actually that big in terms of square metres. You can see it's 160 square metres. It's basically a 3-bedroom with 2 living areas. There's a little yoga study area there, which is joining the living area. Stairs in the middle. All the wet areas are clumped together, laundry underneath that. So it's very, very efficient when it comes to the hot water system, etc. And the 2 bedrooms, the dining area, get the north. So here's the cut. We hit a rock, which was lots of fun. It took about a week to chip that one out. And that's the bottom slab with the step strip footings. That's all the block retaining walls going in. Then the bond deck goes down onto that with the underfloor heating, hydronic underfloor heating. Only in the living areas, not in the bedrooms. And I've got some feedback from the client about that, which is good. Once the slab's down, then you see the frame pop up pretty quick smart with our 140 studs. And then we do our standard Goodhouse approach, which is careful wrapping and taping to get the seal. The thermal mass inside this one, we ended up using the very cost-effective concrete block going right up through. Why not? Just keep building. And polished concrete, pour of the day, and you can see the rainwater tanks on site there. There's no town water. That's the wastewater system. Not biolytics. It'll come to me. FujiClean and dispersal area in the bottom. All of that rock that was chipped out became the fantastic gabion walls for the dispersal system up the top of the block. There's the fire water there, and here's the 2 heat pumps that are running the underfloor heating and the hot water of the house. And to run those heat pumps, we're looking at 1800 watts. So it's pretty low energy. Here's just some finished shots. This is where I do my jazz hands, I guess. It's everything within. We love this little project because it's not enormous, and it is all standard Goodhouse spec throughout. So it just goes to show what is possible with a fairly standard sort of spec and off-the-shelf products. So all the spaces are as big as they need to be. That's the southern veranda that looks out. That's screening for the neighbours' privacy. This is the northern deck, and you can see the dappled light coming through the trees. Was a pleasant surprise, the amount of sun we actually did get through the trees. That's not this Goodhouse, but that's our standard sort of kit, which is the hot water system, the 900 watt input heat pump for the hot water, the heat pump for the underfloor heating, 10 kilowatt battery. Now, if you run that kit with a Goodhouse, you're looking at covering all of the energy consumption in the house and zero bills right the way through the year. So it is possible to do it. That's our standard Goodhouse sort of spec, average 2200 a square metre. We always get under 5 air changes per hour. We're looking at about 2.5 to 3 now. We don't want to get any tighter than that. Insulation is around double the code requirements. It's about a 2-year process, and the energy usage on average, and I've just got the data from these people on the phone just before, is about 1/5 of houses in the local area. But with that, moderate solar system and battery, we can easily cover that. And you get a free doormat.
The best feature.
It is. It's funny, people always want the doormat. It's like, but what about the house? No, that's the doormat. 7 minutes?
Yeah.
Close. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lars. Thank you, kind sir.